Always a treat to have Braylon Edwards and Mark Sanchez here at training camp. What was it like for you guys just going out there, hanging out in practice today?
First thing, this happened last year too when Mark and I were here. I wish we were here. Like, we were up in Cortland, you know what I'm saying? Which wasn't a bad drive, but you see the rises, you see the crowd here in Florham Park. Like, it's exciting.
But Cortland was cool.
Cortland was great.
Really cool.
Cortland was great.
Yeah.
I like the rises.
I mean, come on, the dark horse up there. That's good time.
You got any stories from the
Harry,
dark horse?
Tony,
Come on.
I actually have
Cortland got me in trouble.
the top. I have the top. Braylon got Braylon in trouble. The top. The top. But Mark got Mark in trouble. The top of a barrel from one of their, I don't know, kegs or something.
Right.
But I have it in my bar at home, the Dark Horse, in California, from the Dark Horse Tavern.
You stole it?
And
Yeah.
then Harry Tony's.
Legend-
No, he gave it to me.
Allegedly.
Legendary establishment.
As far as you know.
Right outside SUNY Cortland. When Rex told you guys, hey, you got the night off, what would you do there?
Dangerous.
Went to Taco Bell.
Shots fired.
I went to Taco Bell.
But it was,
What
you said it was dangerous?
No, I mean, we had a lot of great personalities.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that wanted to work really hard when it was time to work, and then have a great time as well.
Turn it off.
Right.
And enjoy the spoils, if you will, of New York. And
Yeah.
I thought we did a great job of balancing both, and we had a great time. I genuinely felt like it was college, especially that second year for me in 2010.
Second year
it
we
felt
went.
a little more like
I
guys
didn't
were
go
at
in
everybody's.
09.
Yeah, it's
I
true.
got traded.
That's
Right.
right.
Yeah.
He didn't come till week 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yep.
My rookie year, and then the next year with Jason Taylor, we had the Hard Knocks year, well documented the kind
Remember
of
all the
personalities
stuff I
we had.
bought? I had like a Cortland hoodie. I had the jogging pants. I was like Cortland.
He looked like a
I
freshman.
Really was in.
He looked like
in
an
the hood.
incoming freshman with rich parents, is what he looked like, just decked out.
I love it. But the thing about Cortland was it was cool in the morning. You never got those really hot days.
It was nice. It was
Yeah,
nice.
That's real. It's good ball.
And there's something to be said about going away for camp. I know the world is changing. We just had this conversation, but the world is changing. Things are different now. But I did like that, us against the world mentality. We're going to hunker down in our bunker, our place, our safe spot, and go get better, set the tone for our year, learn these offensive and defensive and special teams calls, and let's go kick some ass this year, But it starts there. You create your identity, I think, in training camp, and there was something to that kind of get away from everything mentality. But that was a hell of a drive.
What was your training camp must-haves that you had to have in the room?
my laptop and my speaker because I was a DJ, or at least I thought I was.
Yeah.
So I had to have my speakers. I had to have my laptop so I could make some mixes. Other than that, not much.
No?
I was simple.
Yeah, I was pretty easy too. I wasn't a diva or anything.
So 9 to 10, last time this team made the playoffs.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? What you saw the 24?
We were talking about lifting the curse.
He
said he might.
You two coming back? Good luck.
No.
We don't want to be Nick Bonacani.
I mean, we just for a small monetary fee, we'd think about lifting the Jets' playoff curse and
we
letting
got
you
some
guys
hocus
in.
pocus. We got some things that we can do.
So we got a ways to go, but
Nah.
what did you think as far as just the talent here? And then also, how do you guys take in practice maybe differently than I do?
I think last year when I came here, it was just exciting to see 8 on the field. It was like, okay, you have 8. It was fun to watch 1-7, who's now 5, Garrett Wilson. It was fun to watch, but the defense really set the tone last year in practice. The defense was, until proven different, they still are the catalyst on the team. Watching this year, you're watching some iron. You're watching the offense. You're watching players. They have more than just one wide receiver. They have more than just one running back. They actually have a system right now that can challenge that defense that is going to be really good this year. So I saw a situation where iron is sharpening iron. Okay. But that defense wasn't necessarily setting the tone all the time. The offense set the tone a little bit out there practice today too. So I'm excited that they have 2 sides of the ball. Last year it was a hopeful one, and they know they had the defense. So.
Yeah, it's really good points. Just piggybacking off of that, I think so competitive in practice. You saw defense win a couple, offense win a few, and it went back and forth. To Braylon's point, a little different feel last year in camp, at least the day we were here. But the cupboard's full there on offense now. It looks different. I love what they did at the offensive line. And then the general sentiment, right? The millennial, if you will, vibes. Kind of, you can tell there's a little chip on everybody's shoulder, especially on offense. I felt that, and things didn't pan out. Obviously, 4 plays into the season, you lose your superstar, So people were a little embarrassed, upset, frustrated, and now it's time. Now you can tell they feel like, hey, forget the noise, forget everything else. Let's go kick some ass this year. Let's go make a statement. And I liked it. I thought it was like an urgent animosity.
Good call.
You know what I mean?
Urgent animosity. I like that.
But like controlled, urgent animosity. Like they just look
It wasn't
dialed.
sloppy.
No
urgency.
sloppy. No, one minor fight gets broken up fast. Like that kind of stuff. You can tell teams that have, been through a little bit together, been through a little adversity, get punched in the mouth a little bit, and then you come back.
You guys had a different dynamic as a quarterback and receiver because you're a young guy at that point, and Braylon's had a couple years in the National Football League. But when you watch Aaron work specifically with Garrett, what's going through your mind? I know on social media today, people are picking up this clip where Garrett and Aaron exchanged. They had a heated conversation, but at the end of the day, they're shaking hands.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been through that as well. Like, not every throw is going to be perfect. Not every route's going to be perfect, but you're trying to get as close as you can and get more time on task, get time with that player to try and understand, okay, what's he thinking? What's Braylon's body language look like when he comes out of a speed out, a speed cut out from 9 to 11 yards on Monday Night Football at Miami? What's it look like when he's going up, making a whole shot catch against cover 2 against Miami up the sidelines when Shotty reminds me in the headset, hey, this one's for the game, and then he cuts off the headset. I was like, thanks a lot. Like, there's not enough pressure already, just so you know. But like that kind of stuff, you could tell that they're starting to really get into that. And they got shortchanged a little bit last year, but you don't think Aaron's watching all those clips? You don't think Aaron's dialed in to watching and studying the guys he's going to be with the next year? So you could tell he's done plenty of off-season work, and they look dynamic.
I think the thing that's going to help their relationship, and I was talking to Garrett about this on the sideline, and I give him a lot of credit. He's always present. Yeah. It's very hard for a wide receiver to stay present. You look at the quarterback situation that he's had. He's had 6 different quarterbacks in 3 years. You talk about wins, losses. It's tough for wide receivers particularly to stay engaged, to do the things. But when you watch him, he's always making the plays. He's always running the right routes. He's always making the catches no matter when it is in the game. And when you watch him at practice, he's always in. He's always doing something to get better. That is what Aaron thrives in. He thrives when he has those type of guys, whether it's Devontae Adams, whether it's insert wide receiver that he's had in the past, that take the game serious, much like him. I think Randall Cobb, 100%, just retired, one of the best to do it for Green Bay and here. So you just see he's got a guy that even though he's going in year 3, he's a vet in every sense of the word. He works hard.
What's unique about his physical skill set? I just asked DJ Reed about it, and he said that his releases, he just changes up constantly. But also, Quincy Nunwa and I were talking after practice, and he called the guy an acrobat.
His body control.
Yeah?
His body control. Like, body control would be the first thing that comes to mind for me. Like, he runs routes with the best of them. He's fast. He's in and out of the breaks. He really doesn't change speed, which is great for a quarterback because that means it gives him that separation. Yeah. It gives the quarterback room to put the ball in there, man. But that you can't coach that acrobatic, the body type. I saw him almost make a catch on the sideline. He wasn't even in the game. They threw the ball and almost sailed out to the crowd. He just jumps up and
he did jump.
You saw that? He got way up, and it caught me out the corner of my eye. His body control is, I think, something that makes him stand out amongst all these good wide receivers in the NFL.
He can land soft. He's elusive at the line of scrimmage because he's a different body type than Braylon, right? Yeah. Like, if you get close to Braylon, try and get your hands on him, he might just shock you so quick and paralyze you and then run by you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where this guy's got to be quick and elusive at the line of scrimmage because he's not nearly as strong as somebody like Braylon's body type. So he's plenty strong, don't get me wrong. It's just 2 different types of player, and they're both incredibly talented, but this kid's good.
He's legit.
Mike Williams started camp on the PUP. You were a bigger receiver yourself. What do you like most about his game, and how is he going to add to the equation here?
One thing about Mike Williams, I watched him when he was in San Diego, now the LA Chargers, is he high points the ball well. Like when the ball's in the air, whether it's high, whether it's lower, he's very aggressive for the football, and that you can't coach that kind of thing. You can't teach that, trying to make somebody aggressive for the football. My coach used to tell me, when the ball's in the air, it's yours. Like, the ball is yours. It's no one else's. It's yours. The quarterback trusts you, so you get the ball. I think that's what he's done best in his career, and he's had some unfortunate injuries that have hampered him at times. But when he plays, when he's in between the hashes, man, he plays with the best of them. It's his dominance for getting the ball. You put the ball in there, you got an 80% chance that he's going to make the play or get a pass interference. So he's aggressive and he attacks the ball. I've always loved that about his game.
And I think he's a little bit underrated playing in San Diego, playing in LA with the Chargers. I don't think he got a ton of the love that he really deserved. I think some of that has to do with the injuries, but he made some huge plays for those teams, and I would see it just locally on the news at night. But if you're not in that market, you don't necessarily gravitate towards a guy like that because they weren't on great teams, really. So I think here's a chance for him career-wise. And we all know up here, everybody knows around here, you play well in New York, everybody's going to know your name.
I think he's also underrated route runner. Like, when you think of tall guys, 6'5", Calvin Johnson, you don't necessarily think about route running. You think about jumping over or running past or bulldozing through. Like, he runs the dig, which was one of my favorite routes, the big dig route. He runs it just, hey, you know it, 100%. There we go. He runs it just as good as anybody in the game at 6'5". So the fact that he can run routes, that catches you off guard as a defensive back. You're not expecting the receivers over 6'3" to run routes. You're expecting them to try to bully you, get to a spot, and run by you. I think he tricks a lot of people with that route running ability.
What do you like most watching Aaron just practice? Because you're a guy who played the game. You're also calling the game each week up in the booth.
You know what's funny is his ability to lock in and his focus is pretty uncanny. You see it with the Peyton Mannings, the Drew Breeses, Tom Brady's. They just get this look in their eye, and whether it's practices or games or walkthroughs or meetings, and he has this ability to turn it on and turn it off like that. And he can joke with you. He's got a million thoughts going through his head on one side of his brain, and then he's absolutely dialed trying to dice you up on defense and get an edge and talk to his guys and motivate, learn, teach, listen, all at the same time. He has an uncanny ability to handle a lot while still maintaining this incredible focus. His ability to compartmentalize, I think, is maybe unmatched. And he's a cerebral guy. He's thinking 3-4 steps ahead of people, and sometimes it comes off as arrogant or pompous or a little different. But yeah, he is a little different. But he's a stone cold killer now, man, and he really wants to win.
But there seems to be a relatability factor that he has with guys in the room as
That's
well.
what I mean.
Yeah.
He's like he can.
He finds it.
Yeah.
It's like tightroping across Niagara Falls. This guy has the perfect balance of everything, and it's impressive to watch. It's impressive.
What's going in your mind when you're watching this, and you can see Aaron is waiting for the snap, and he's almost toying with you. There's this cat and mouse game, and he lets you finally disguise. You're out of your disguise, and you're showing pressure, and he knows he's got you beat. How will that help the Jets' defense down the line?
I'll let you take that one.
Oh, shoot. Well, we saw it today. Okay, the play coming towards the building, they brought a 4-week pressure.
Okay.
They try to disguise it, and he hits
Garrett
up the sideline.
Right.
And it was a classic Aaron Rodgers, boom, fake the snap, fake the mic point, and boom. And the defense is kind of taught the second time you're going down for the ball, looking at the center, and you got to make sure you don't lift the leg or give an indicator and keep your eyes up, because then they'll hold. Right? And he just sells it enough because he's a part actor at the same time. And then right at the last second goes, boom, easy. Hey, Mike's 44. Then he tells the back, you got the safety. Go back and pull up the clip because it's money. This is like classic.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking.
4-week pressure on defense. Remind the offensive line, new mic point from the mic to the will. Tell the running back, you got to help over there. If that extra guy comes, which he is, boom, go pick that guy off. And now it's Garrett Wilson on a safety. Good luck.
And unless the X's and O's breakdown and execution and the explanations
I love that.
100%. I think he trusts his confidence level. He trusts himself. He's been doing this now for the better part of 20 years, 1920. We're in the same draft class of 05.
Dang.
He's been doing it, He's been doing it so long. He's been doing it so long, but he trusts himself. A lot of people have seen it, but they still don't necessarily. I know what's coming, but is it going to come? Like 100% when he knows. Hits instantly. He knows what it is. He's able to get through those things that Mark laid out so eloquently. And then he goes, he trusts, and it's there. It's always there. But he trusts himself. He trusts the years he's spent in the NFL. So
100%.
that trust is
How old are you guys right now, Brett?
41.
41.
37.
He 37?
37, still a
man,
baby
you're
at
lucky.
37. So what do you think about this
Why
cat?
didn't I get a baby at 41?
Well,
Jeez Louise.
yeah, you definitely. Well,
messing around.
I got to start with him first. I'm like a grandpa compared to you guys. Now,
Well, true.
take it easy.
Fight.
What do you? How would you assess his environment heading into the season? Being 40, going to be 41 in December.
Yeah.
Trying to accomplish something that nobody ever has before. Coming off an Achilles. We've
Yeah.
never seen anything like this.
I know.
Yeah.
Especially as fast as he was able to start moving around.
Yeah.
That was impressive in itself. I mean,
that was crazy.
I know in some ways, guys like that, competitors like that, you almost have to protect them from themselves. Like, don't let them go out too early,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So I think they did a good job of taking care of him last year, making sure he didn't try and come back too early. But I think he really does have something to prove. And that's not a guy you want to mess with. Like, you don't go picking fights with Jedis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not really in your best interest. So I know a lot of the noise, a lot of the off-season stuff. He's a different cat. He kind of marches to the beat of his own drum,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But trust me, he's a pretty impressive guy, and that's not somebody I want either under the radar or pissed off at me. You know what I mean? Especially as a D coordinator, that's a lot to deal with.
I've seen it firsthand. In 2005, his name didn't get called till 24.
Yeah.
And he had that chip on his shoulder until he came in and got the job after his third year. That's not a guy I want to piss off. Remember a couple years ago, they told him, man, it was over. He's done. What happened? He gets back-to-back MVPs. So he's just a guy that thrives in the pressure. He thrives when you tell him you can't do something. I think last year you started to see him build team bonds. Like, he was legitimately locked into what the New York Jets were. He was trying to build with this team. He was trying to build with this coaching staff. It wasn't Aaron Rodgers and everybody else. It was Aaron Rodgers a part of a team, and obviously we know it didn't get to happen that way. So I think he's still trying to prove that he's that team guy, and that's what you see today. That's what you've seen all offseason. I think him coming back, like you said, 40, Achilles, Kirk Cousins is another guy. You think about that. But coming off those injuries, I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't bet against 8. He's just not a guy you want to bet against, and I think the Jets have done a great job of putting the right things around him, the right pieces, so that he can have sustained success.
What a story if it works out, right? Because all the hype that coming in last year, then it's, it failed. Well, story's not over.
No,
We just got to intermission, so hang tight.
Yeah, Robert Saleh was talking about that. We thought it was going to be year 3 for us, and basically they got it taken away. But that being said, this is year 4 of the program. There's reason to think, on paper at least, this roster's better than it was last year.
Yeah.
And they were ready. They might have been ready to take off last year.
I think so. And I think, yes, having those reps with Aaron, would that have helped? Absolutely. But just a year in the system, getting the language down, speaking it fluently this year, bringing young guys along, for guys like Garrett Wilson to bring along Malachi Corley, who we saw flashes of today.
17.
Like that. Just like that. Well, the punter's wearing, Morstead's wearing number 6. So.
Hey,
There you go.
Hey, there you go.
I saw number 6 in the stands today. Did you ever sign that
somebody.
jersey?
It was laundry day, I guess, and Aaron Rodgers was in the wash, so they brought 6 out. I actually did a jersey swap with Morstead.
Did you really?
Yeah, so I gave him that jersey. I borrowed it from that nice fan, whoever you are. Thank you. And then we did a fake little post-game jersey swap.
Did you talk to Corley today?
I did. I had a
What
chance
did you
to see him. One, I told him I drafted him. He was like, I remember. He was like, it's nice to meet you. It's funny as sir. You're getting a lot of sirs out here, too.
I
Like,
know.
I don't hate it, but I don't like it.
I like the respect from the young guys. I appreciate that,
100%.
but then it's like, just call me Mark.
It's like, dude, I'm brave. I'm like, sir is my dad, and he doesn't like to be called sir. He stands. So, but with that being said, I got a chance to talk to him. Excited to see what he can do. We were talking about him. You put the ball in his hands, man. His yards after catch and just being able to be explosive. We got to get him in the running routes. We got him getting used to being able to catch passes 14 yards down the field, 16 yards down the field, 20 yards down the field. But I was watching him explosive.
Yeah.
And he listens. He's attentive. Like,
Okay.
I watched a bunch of different people have conversations with him on the sideline, and I watched him listen, and I watched him engage. So I'm excited to see what he has. And I called him on stage. Last time I called somebody on stage, rest in peace, they ended up being a big part of what we did, and that was Joe McKnight.
Yeah.
That's USC. So
Pump block.
100%. So I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited.
Speaking of Rodgers, speaking of the playoffs, how much do you guys reflect on what happened with you guys in the postseason and how close you were to facing him? Because his only Super Bowl ring came after beating the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Remember, we lost to them 9-3. Yeah.
At my life.
Yeah.
I was talking to Bart Scott about this the other day.
We're a better team.
I don't know what Aaron would say now.
Yeah.
But our roster was easily as good, if not better. our defense throttled them, but we just couldn't do anything on offense. And freaking Woodson picked me off on a dang slant route. That was so bad. Should have been a flag. We had a couple questionable calls.
Yeah.
But regardless, we didn't win the game. I know. And Rex, all he wanted to do was get another shot at those guys because he was pissed. I mean, you give up 9 points. Come on, offense. We got to figure it out. And so I felt like we were in such a better place in the playoffs, than we were against those guys in October or whenever we played them. But shoot, it was funny. We were just talking about like your favorite throws and catches. One another, our memories together, and
I caught one in that game because I'm on the sideline like on my shoe.
Shoe. Hey,
no,
I was under pressure.
I wasn't trying to say those bad, bro.
Hey, do you guys have a top 5?
Well,
Did you do a
I
top
still
5?
think the sluggo. So we used to run the fake power because we'd run power on 3rd and 10, pull a guard and have 2 backs in the backfield.
Ground.
2009.
Yeah. So
Ground
we
and
would,
pound.
turn around and I'm going to hand off power, and then there goes Braylon ripping on a slant route off the line of scrimmage on the backside to the X single receiver, right? So we used to run that play all the time, and everybody was ready for it. The Colts were ready for it, and we left Freeney free on the sideline or on the end of the line of scrimmage, but Braylon just routed up the corner, and I told him that was the fastest I think he ever clocked in his career. I wish we had GPS back then. I mean, there was the invention of GPS. We're not that old, but not in our pads. I think he would have hit like 22 miles an hour or something because he was flying. And I just remember throwing that ball, watching him take off and thinking, oh, my God.
I like how we manipulated.
This is going to be it.
I like how Shotty started getting us to manipulate the stem releases. Like, so in 2010, we ran a couple of stem releases, and I scored on 3 of them. I think we had the stem release out route against Miami.
Yep.
My first play in the game, he throws
That,
it
like,
perfect,
spray.
catch it, it's a touch, 72-yard touchdown. We played Buffalo. That's when we run those stem out.
Stem out and
We ran
go.
the stem out and go, hit that, and then we played the Broncos.
Yep.
So Champ Bailey, outside of Hall of Fame 24,
You took the
right
top
here,
off in 0.
it's the best DB I ever played. Like Champ Bailey next to Darrell Reeves was the best DB I ever played. Like he was dialed in, intelligent. He knew where you were going. He was strong deceptively. He's 6'1", deceptively tall, long arms. Never scored on him. I could not score on him to save my life. That Broncos year, we played them stem release, seam route, cut
To
it
the
in,
post.
Mark put it right. It was butt naked, wide open. So
It was cover 0. We had free runners, so I just kind of threw it to a spot.
There you go.
But that was awesome.
it was a fun year.
Hey, when you look across the sideline, you see Antonio Cromartie out there?
I know.
240 by the
I gave him
way.
a hard time.
Is
I
he
said,
240?
I said, you could be
240
playing
right
linebacker.
Like all traps.
Remember when he got in trouble for eating McDonald's in warm-ups?
Yes.
Okay, so we had our
Oh,
practice out at Long Island.
At Long Island. That was at Hofstra.
Yes, at Hofstra. So he brought out these sandwiches, and Rex got pissed. And, he was screaming at the defense. Dennis Thurman was mad at everybody. Everybody's all in a bad mood.
Yeah.
USC.
So I said, damn, Crow, you look like you could be playing linebacker. I think those cheeseburgers are catching up to you. He goes, man. He got all mad at me. So why you got to say that off the jump? Like,
Funny story. I hosted
love
Antonio in college.
no,
Did
you
you
did
really?
not.
I swear to God, I did. So
No wonder why he didn't go there.
You know what? You give me a second. Like at the end of the day. So I'm a year older than Crow, grade wise, and he came up. What is it? December is like the big draft. I mean,
Yeah.
the big recruit weekend. He couldn't come up then. Typical Crow. He came up after we played the bowl game before winter term started. So it was just he and I, and we're sitting up there. We're watching film of the Outback Bowl where we beat Florida, and the whole time watching film, he was like, "Oh, I ought to beat this guy on that." He was like, "How'd you let him catch you? He caught you again on this one?" Like so. So now he's getting on my nerve. He's pissing
Was
me
he?
off.
He was pissing
He
you off.
was. He was. But he got mad at me. He said, "Where's the rest of my per diem?" I said, "What are you talking about?" Well, he said, "Well, you gave me 20. Where's the other 40?" I was like, "Well, look, man, nobody's up here right now. I had to come from Detroit to here. It's called gas money." So we actually just joked about that, but that's how long I've known him. Hosted him, that would have been
Shaking down
January.
recruits, stealing their per diem.
But they made me come up from it. I didn't have any money. There was no NIL in 2002.
That's great.
I had to drive up
Yeah,
37 miles.
so Crow was in Ann Arbor, huh?
Cole was in Ann Arbor.
That's-
And he said, "I'm not coming here, but if I did, I'd take your
Yeah,
spot."
dude, it's way too cold. He ain't going there.
Hey, you guys, your schools are in the same conference now.
Oh, he and
I
I
know.
What is that all about?
That's wild.
We got some get back. We got some get back to get. USC's
They
been.
think they owe us a couple.
What do you mean fake? You
Saw
beat the
those
brakes
Rose
off of
Bowls.
us in 08.
So what do you think about that USC joining the
Yeah,
Big
it's.
Ten?
I mean, it's huge for us. I think it made sense the way these conferences are realigning, and it was right for the program at the time. I think we'll see how we do. I'm excited about our opportunities to play schools like Michigan and not wait till January 1st to try and play those guys. That it's going to be back-to-back slugfests against some of these teams.
Yeah, every week.
And different body types, different mentality of players and coaches and schemes and stuff. So that's gonna be fun. We're gonna have plenty of work cut out for us, but I think we'll be competitive.
Amazing Blue coming off a championship.
True. Shout out to Maize Blue, Go Blue, national champs. I'm excited because every time we play these teams, whether it's playing USC, whether it's playing Oregon, whether it's playing Washington, whether it's playing an SEC school or Texas, we always got to go to the Rose Bowl. We always got to go to Texas. You always got to go down south. You always got to go on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Come on up to the big house
Come on
is
up
what
to
he
the
said.
big
There
house
we
is
go.
what I'm saying. Come on up to the big house. But, all jokes aside, you're talking about a story program like USC. Like, great to have them in the Big Ten now, man. And Oregon and what they've done over the past, 10, 12 years, they've been one of the best programs. So them and Matt Lanning, I'm excited to have these schools in the Big Ten. The Big Ten is definitely taking their chances. I think they're a better conference in the SEC, in my opinion.
Yeah, they might be top to bottom. The bottom of the Big Ten, is it better than the SEC? I think that'll be a good argument by the end of the season. How these bowl games shake out, how these records shake out.
Yeah.
That'll be fun to watch.
You both are thriving in this industry, so you cover not just the Jets from afar, but you guys know the National Football League. What do you make of the landscape the Jets face in the AFC?
I'm working. He's thriving. I'm working.
about
He's
that.
thriving. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, shoot, I think things still run through Buffalo. I think a lot of question marks in New England with turnover at head coach, turnover at quarterback. Always going to be potential setbacks or just potential roadblocks when you start fresh like that. And then Miami, a ton of turnover there as well.
Especially defensively.
Defensively is the big one. Is how are those guys going to come back? Phillips and Chubb from injuries. What's that going to look like without Howard, the defensive back, Xavier Howard?
Yep.
That's going to be a big question mark as well. New defensive coordinator, new scheme, new language. That's always something that you need to think about. And sometimes it takes till almost bye week, midway through the season, where everybody's really clicking. And by then you can drop a couple games. So I think the Jets, listen, if they can, worst case, you split with Buffalo, steal 2 of the other games against New England, hopefully, and break that streak.
Yep.
And then, Miami will be their next toughest opponent. Things are looking good to potentially, tie for first, be right there at second. Like, they're going to have a shot to win this thing, and they're just going to have to come out of the gates quick and stay healthy.
I'm not as political. I think it's the Jets for the taking.
Ooh.
I think it's the Jets for the taking. You look at what the Buffalo Bills have been since they made it to the AFC Championship game. They've gone down each year, and I think Josh Allen, I love him as a player, but I don't know if he and Sean McDermott are it. And I think, excuse me, and I think this is a pivotal year for them, and I think they've been on the decline each year. You look at what they've done in the playoffs, speaks for itself. So I'm not scared of them. Patriots, nowhere near scared of them. And the Miami Dolphins are very inconsistent. Like you said, if you can split with them, get one early, and force them in a situation where make Miami play up north in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Make Miami play here in January. Don't give them an opportunity where you got to go down to humid Miami in January. You want to be up here. So I like the Jets' chances. I think they have enough on both sides of the ball and special teams to be the dominant force in the AFC East.
AFC East. Do you like the way the schedule? Let's get out of here with this. What do you think about the way the schedule aligns? San Francisco, Monday night.
Yeah.
It's going to be a well-watched game.
7 primetime games, correct?
Yeah. 7 standalones, I think. Seven standalones.
Single windows. Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Week 2, you're at Tennessee, then home opener, Thursday night football against the New England Patriots. Then you come home. Yeah, you stay at home after 10 days, Denver Broncos. So what I'm saying, early on in the season, you get 49ers. We know they're going to be one of the elite teams in the league. But you have other teams that are in transition, whether it's Tennessee, they get a new head coach. You have New England, who is new head coach, maybe new quarterback. Could be Jacoby
Yeah.
Brissett. You got Denver. You don't know what the quarterback situation is there. Zach Wilson's in over there. Minnesota, who
There
the
you
Jets
go.
see
Kevin
over there
O'Connell.
in London.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell.
knows-
That's right. That is a London game.
Yeah. So
So I think the toughest thing they're working against is travel and the unknown of those teams. Right?
Okay.
You're going to have to kind of piecemeal some of that game plan together with some of those defensive coordinators or offensive coordinators, or almost like college tape from guys to try and figure out who they are by the time you see them, because it's so early. When you have those teams later in the year, you have a whole body of work, a whole 6, 8, 10 weeks to study. These guys are going to be fresh start for everybody, but they're saying the same thing about the Jets. So we know their defense is good. How good is their offense? You know, everybody's got question marks. So that first month of the season is like, it's almost like March Madness. You know, it's just nuts. It's all matchups. It's all, you know, going down to the wire, games within a touchdown or 3 points, you know. And so the Jets are just going to have to find themselves on the right side of, you know, those first 4. If they could, you know, be somewhere 3-1, even 2-2, I would take. But 3-1, you're feeling great after the first month of the season. And then, once again, staying healthy, that's going to be huge.
I agree 100%. I'll just stay with the first game of the season, San Francisco 49ers. There's a lot of carryover there.
yeah.
Like San Francisco
Ton.
49ers are getting a lot of credit that they don't necessarily deserve for this year. No Greenlaw this year. That offensive line is not nearly the same. They really just have Trent Williams. What's going on with Brandon
Yeah,
Ayuk?
he's holding out right now.
He's not a happy camper, which causes friction. It causes a little bit of back and forth. So I think our Jets, are playing them at the right time. First game of the year when the 49ers don't necessarily know what they are yet.
Yeah.
I think it's the first. It's the opportune time to play them.
Yeah.
It's the opportune time for a comeback.
Before they get rolling.
One-
No doubt.
100%.
Because then you won't have to see him until the Super Bowl.
There you go.
But that's a really good point about Trent Williams holding out, Ayuk holding out.
Yeah. Greenlaw's no longer there.
They're trying to figure it out. I'm doing actually their preseason game against the Saints. So
There you go.
get some good info, see how we do.
So hopefully by the time this airs, maybe Hassan Reddick is back at One Jets Drive. We'll have to see. It's
We would like that. That'd be big for the D-line.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always great
I
seeing
think
you guys.
Williams and Johnson would appreciate that. Come on back, big
Always
guy.
appreciate you too, man.
Thanks, fellas.
All right.